Last night on MasterChef Australia,
it is myself and Sam on the chopping block.
the blue team faced another tense elimination.
Trevor, you will not be Australia's first MasterChef.
Have fun, guys.
Tonight, it's Masterclass.
Are you going to read the recipe? I thought you said you made loads of cupcakes before.
Gary and George cook up the perfect pasta
So this is a really, really simple recipe.
and create another mouth-watering dessert.
You like that, don't you?
Yeah, can I take the pot?
No.
We're having masterclass today, and I just can't wait to get in and learn so much, as I always do.
Masterclass is really important because it gives us time to learn, and you know, while Julie's away having masterclasses every day, we have it once a week, so it's important to take on as much as possible.
So, we're missing Trevor.
You get my vote.
Trevor, you will not be Australia's first MasterChef.
I've had an absolute ball and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Have fun, guys. What happened? It wasn't what I expected, to be perfectly honest.
I don't think Trevor was a good captain at all.
Jenny, Poe, clean up. Let's go. Wipe down. Done. We're done. We're done. Stop touching it. We're finished.
He didn't listen to me when I tried. I had to convey my idea about how to do the entree through Andre on the boat. He kept eating my food while I tried to plate the food.
So you're really not happy at all?
I was not happy at all, and
Not
this is
happy
very
at all.
honest because I was very angry, to be honest.
I mean, in the end, I thought that, you know, both captains, both teams performed very well, in fact. And I think Trevor, from the outside, seemed to be doing a really good job in terms of pulling it together. Oh, well. Now, we've had a lot of seafood in the past week, all right? And if we recap to Justine's Celebrity Chef Challenge, you cooked lobster salad, which was Guy Grossi's speciality from Florentino in Melbourne, and you did an okay job there. I mean, there was a point between you and Guy.
I know.
That's a serious achievement. But in terms of the masterclass, we want to recap the seafood that you've cooked this week, and we want to show you a couple of new tricks, a couple of lessons that you can take forward into the challenges. So what I'm going to make is a nice fresh lobster bisque from the shells, from the lobster, some fresh vegetables, and that's going to act as the sauce for the fresh linguine, which George is going to make. So we've got some lobster bones, and like any sauce, you've got to introduce some flavour. You've got to get some caramelisation on the bones, okay? I've got some prawn shells, and this is great. Using prawn shells, you know, from the tail, the heads, you know, if you're peeling prawns for another dish, great way of using up full prawn stock. So we've got to give that a little bit of time just to brown off. You're browning these pieces off, again, caramelising the sugars and getting those nice toasty, roasted crustacean flavours. You don't want to burn it, you want to brown it. I'm going to put in the vegetables after this has been roasting for about 4 or 5 minutes. Plenty of garlic, plenty of shallots, and a good amount of carrot as well, because you get plenty of sweetness from the carrot. So the fennel. How does this compare to the blue team's shrimp essence that you made so far? Poe?
I don't want to sound like a smart-ass, but this is actually how I would have done it. But I wasn't in charge of the sauce, so...
Yeah, but why didn't you do it then?
Because I was delegated a task and I did what I was asked.
All right, interesting. Okay, so bay leaves, a couple of star anise, and then also a few peppercorns and crushed coriander seeds go in. And in a bit of thyme, all right? Quite generous. Now, next stage, brandy. Now, the thing about using brandy, and everybody goes wild over this, but you need to flame the brandy to burn off the alcohol, technically. If it doesn't flame, it doesn't matter. All right, and then a bit of the ouzo. All right, and again, that's just to... And the flame will go out naturally when the alcohol's burnt off. Next up, the stock, and I'm using a chicken stock. That's going to come up to the boil. I've got some fresh tomatoes that I've just taken the seeds out of. And then a few of the fronds from the fennel, which is the fennel tops, right? And then the tarragon, I'm putting stalks and all, just a few nice pieces of that. And that'll start that flavouring off. And a little bit of mint, all right? And then basically, once that's up to the boil, that goes on to a very, very gentle simmer to extract all the flavour for about 30 to 35 minutes. And while that's simmering and developing flavour, we're going to go over to George so that he can make our fresh pasta and linguine.
Tom, why don't you come up and we'll make some fresh pasta together. Welcome to the kitchen of love, Tom. Yeah, so we're going to make some fresh pasta. It's something that you should always have in your repertoire, yeah? Okay, so 200 grams of flour into a bowl. And just make sure you sort of well it around, so when you pop your eggs and your liquid in there, it's not going to stick to the sides. It will incorporate properly. Right, 2 whole eggs. One egg yolk, a little pinch of salt, okay, and a little drizzle of olive oil. Okay, that's enough. Okay, lid on. Okay, and what we want to see is a crumb consistency. Okay, turn it off. And just literally tip it all out. Yep, you want to get the gluten going in it, the elastic in it. Right, now, give the dough some work. Give us a feel. Yep, that's good, Tom. Right, next step is to roll the pasta out, okay, and create linguine. First thing to do is to give your space a little bit of a dust. I would squash it down a little bit more, just to give you a little bit of a head start. Okay, that should be enough. And start putting that through. Now, at that point, pull it out, stretch it out. Just give it a light rub with some of that flour, okay? And then just fold it into each other, and then one more. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn the dough, and we're going to start working it that way. And then again, we're going to turn it, and we're going to keep doing that, and it's going to get the gluten going, all right? Guide it. You need to guide it. That's it. So at this point, we've got a really nice texture. This is what the thickness of the linguine that we wanted at, okay? So we make sure we floured each side. It's got a good amount of flour so it doesn't stick to our machine. Now we're going to actually put it through and make our linguine shape. Yep. Keep going. Great. Then, she's got these beautiful hairs of pasta, okay?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Well done. Good job.
So the lobster bisque has been cooking for about 35 minutes. It's smelling absolutely beautiful. So I'm just going to put the cream in now, which is the last part, and bring it back to the boil and simmer for about 3 minutes. Once the bisque has come back to the boil with the cream in, I'm just going to put a few more of those fresh, soft herbs in, so the tarragon, the mint, and the chervil, and I'm just going to push them into the sauce and I'm going to pop a lid on, and I'm just going to let that infuse so it draws a different flavour into the sauce. And then while that's doing that, I'm just going to take the tail off this lobster and use a couple of pieces for the pasta that we're doing. If you've not done this before, you've just got to tease the tail away from the top of the head, all right? And you've got to try and draw out as much of that flesh as you can, because all this stuff counts, right? And then basically what we do is we just press to crack the shell down the centre, and then using it like a lever, we then remove a bit like a prawn, we then remove the top parts of the shell. All right, nice and easy. Okay, so tail's removed, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that sort of straggly bit off the end, and then I'm going to pop the lobster on the corner of the board, because I just find that this way I can, if I want to, I can remove, you know, lovely little medallions. All right, and I'm just going to use 3 for this.
I'm just wondering if when you make the basic, like, prawn stocks and seafood stocks, how long they would keep in a freezer?
Well, freezer, there's a rule of thumb, which is 3 months.
Even for seafood, same thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, lobster's ready to go for the pasta, and we're just going to get back to the sauce and strain that. So it's been just sitting there infusing for about 5 minutes, and then all we're going to do is strain this through the muslin. If you don't put it through muslin, you put it straight through a chinois or a sieve like this, then you're going to end up with little tiny sort of sediment that runs through the sauce, and you're never going to have that beautiful glossy finish. All right? All right, so what I'm doing with that muslin is I'm just twisting the top and then creating a bit of pressure so that I'm squeezing out the very last of that sauce. And you can see the olive oil that I used, or the fats that I used, which was olive oil in the cooking, and the cream, have come to the surface. That's beautiful. A lot of flavour in there. So once we've strained the sauce, right, we're then going to put that in a small pot and bring that up to the boil. Sam, do you want to come up and taste the sauce as it is now?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me what you taste.
Wow. Yeah, you can definitely taste there's a huge sort of seafood, shellfish flavour in it. You can definitely taste the tarragon.
Yep.
It's just a huge amount of depth in it.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Now, what I'm doing here is I'm just warming up a spoon. I'm just going to pour in a little bit of brandy, and I'm just going to flame it. I'm going to throw that. It seems really silly, doesn't it? It's such a small amount, but we've got a tiny bit of sauce in there. See, it's just flaming now.
Yep.
Yep. See that?
I can see that.
Watch this. Now taste it. Change it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
It does, doesn't it?
It really.
All right. You like that, don't you?
Yeah, can I take the pot?
No. OK, Sam, stop eating the sauce and get back.
Right. Our pasta, and we just pop that in. And I've put a little chinois in there, into the water, so I can catch it all. I don't need to take the pot to the sink, strain the water out, blah, blah, blah. These only take, 30 seconds. All right? Now, I've got some of the sauce that Gary gave me, and it's reduced down a little bit more, so it gives it a nice coat, a nice glaze. Strain it well. We don't want to put water into our sauce. All right? A little drizzle of olive oil. And we'll just give that a nice toss. And we've got this beautiful, rich, flavoursome pasta. Now, we get some of the little shredded bits of lobster. Goes in there. And again, just make sure it's all incorporated. Nice little medallions that Gary's just popped on the plate. And then on to the, okay? And we just pull that out like that. And it just holds up beautifully. Then just make sure you get some of these little bits of lobster on there.
OK, so where we're at is that sauce, Sam, has been corrected, flamed a little bit of brandy into it. So butter in, and then we're going to foam this. Now remember, what the butter does is add that little bit of smoothness in your mouth, it rounds off all those flavours. And then just before it goes out to the customer, it gets a little bit of something that makes you go, ooh.
So here you have it, guys, a really simple dish of linguine with lobster sauce and lobster. Tom, come and have a taste.
Excellent. The sauce, just love the sauce, the creaminess of the sauce. There's almost a fudge flavour to the sauce, the creaminess of the sauce.
Sweetness,
Sweetness.
maybe you're referring to. Yeah.
The pasta, I mean, amazing.
So in Italian, how would you explain this?
Buono.
Buono.
Buono. Squisito, no?
Top tips for making a bisque or essence. Obviously, fresh bones, really, really important. And then again, developing the sugars, the caramelization of the sugars from that lobster, really, really important. If it smells beautiful in the pot, that will translate into the sauce.
Top tips to make fresh pasta. Use a 00 flour or a plain flour, high in gluten. Crumbing consistency, look for that crumbing consistency when you're blending it in your food processor. When you cook your pasta, boiling salted water, no oil, and then straight into your hot sauce. Hot pasta, hot sauce, you don't need to cool your pasta down.
You're part of the top 10 now, you lot. How fabulous is that? We're getting to the nuts and bolts of the competition now.
Let's not forget Julia, yeah? She won the Celebrity Challenge and she's out there now working in a top kitchen. Julia's going to come back in the final week with ammunition all over her. That means you guys need that ammunition as well. So you've just got to really absorb as much as possible and nail it. Let's not forget her.
We're going to make a Tuscan bean and vegetable soup with cavallo nero. So basically what we're going to do here is onions, garlic, bacon to start off with. So like with most things, the onions and the garlic form the basis to so many dishes, right? Can't go without these basics. So we're going to fry those first. So this is why I'm chopping in this order, right? So remember I said onions, garlic and bacon because I want to bleed all of those fats from the bacon into the pan. And I'm going to cut a nice little dice of the bacon. And the fattier the better for me. Lovely.
What the most important thing is with a soup like this is the timing of when you put the vegetables in. Just like in a stir fry, certain things go in at certain times because they all cook differently.
Ooh. So bay leaf, bit of thyme. And I'm putting that bacon skin in as well because that's going to give it a lovely flavour. And George, what are you making there, mate?
I'm cutting the leek, but we need to understand the makeups of the leek. The white part of the leek is nice and sweet, and that's where some really beautiful flavour in there. The green part of the leek is quite bitter, and I see chefs, they throw them into stocks because it's scrap vegetable. Please don't do that. It's really bitter. It's quite useless, actually. Tom?
I mean, you've used that knife. If you have time, are you able to go through the other knives that you have in terms of their use?
You know what's funny is that as a chef, I might use like those two. To be honest, if you become really skillful with a certain knife, it becomes like an old friend. And believe it or not, when you pick up somebody else's knife, it doesn't feel right at all, okay? So every knife has a different potential job. It's just up to you what you feel comfortable with. So we've got some basic root vegetables in there. We're going to put some potato. You've got celeriac, which George is doing, which is like celery, but it's a root instead of a stem.
Really lovely vegetable, really beautiful.
All right, so we've sweated the fat. It sounds awful, doesn't it? But we basically bled the fat from the bacon. It's now cooking down with the onions and the garlic, and you're drawing the sugar out of the onions, essentially. All right? And then all of those root vegetables are going to go in. And just give them a couple of minutes just to coat in the oil, coat in the garlic, and just start that cooking process off. And then all we're going to add is boiling chicken stock. And we're going to cook that for about 45 minutes.
I think what's really important is, you know, all these trimmings, nothing goes in the bin. And, you know, my sauce chef that looks after all the sauces, he gets these given to him, little buckets, and he'll use them to, you know, finish a little jus off or make a carrot puree, you know. It's absolutely brilliant.
Now, what we're doing is just going to make a few croutons for this soup. And we talk about taking something that's very peasanty and plain. Let's be honest, it's a meal for the family table into something that is a little bit special, right? So a bit of olive oil. Gonna let that get hot, and we're gonna toast them until they're golden brown. And then what I've done is we've roasted the garlic, just whole, just clip the top off. We've cooked them on rock salt, so, you know, they take away some of the moisture. Take it out of the skin. And we're going to make a little crouton, or bruschetta, if you like, to go with this nice vegetable soup.
Jeannie?
How long did you roast your garlic? Because it comes out quite nice and whole, it's not mushy.
It's about 45 minutes to an hour in a moderate oven, so it's nice and soft. And the nice thing about cooking the garlic like this is it takes on a whole different dimension. Onions and garlic, for example, which form the staples of so many dishes, go from being this really coarse, astringent, powerful flavour that, you know, is a bit of a shock to the system, to, as you cook it, becomes this lovely, mellow, deeply flavourful ingredient.
The Tuscan soup's been cooking for 45 minutes. You can pull out these bacon bit that Gary put in, which is absolutely delicious now. You could actually, if you want, cut that up, crumb it, and deep fry it, and serve that with, oh, that'd just be magnificent, because that's beautiful, yeah? It's all been braised, and it's really tender. Right, guys, so at this point, we're using actually tinned cannellini beans and kidney beans, and they go in at this point, just before you put your cavalliniera in. Basically, you just need to get these hot. They're already cooked, so you don't need to put them in at the start, because they will go mushy, all right?
And then we're going to throw in the black cabbage, the Tuscan black cabbage, or cavalliniera.
It is a little bit more tough as a green, so it just needs a couple seconds to break down. It's got less water content than spinach. But it's quite, yeah, it's meaty, isn't it?
Meaty, yeah.
Tom, come and have a taste. Now, you know what they say when you taste something out of a pot? It's going to rain on your wedding day, yeah? All right?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. I want you to taste that, and I want you to tell me what you think, yeah? Tell me the flavours that you're getting. So can you get the carrot, the celery, the onion? It's like, you know, it's a good base to a great soup.
I love the texture as well. The texture between the sort of the beans and the bacon and the cabbage.
Yeah.
A good soup is about developing layers of flavour, okay? And even though you might be sitting there going, oh, it's a soup, you've got to learn this layering of flavour, extracting flavour at every stage of the cooking.
One of my favourite parts of the week is to leave the MasterChef kitchen and do some real work experience in real commercial kitchens. It's an invaluable experience. This week I went with Jeannie to L'Etoile, which is Manu's restaurant. It's a small restaurant, a smaller kitchen, and it had a fantastic crew there.
You go to the sauce, I'll grab the lemons.
Okay, let's go. It's taking too long, you know. Sunday is one of the busiest lunches that we've got here, and we've got to serve 50, 100, 200 covers, and they all want the same thing, all at the same time. So it's really important for them to understand that. Just leave the pan alone so the oil goes hot. Yeah.
It's so important, this work experience. You're really learning how to plate food, cook food, the tricks of the trade. Got an order of 7 salmon to prepare. So now I've got to have my asparagus down, my salmon, and then my lovely beurre blanc sauce, which I've learned how to make.
My lovely beurre blanc.
Your blog,
yeah,
but I've learned how to make. Better than Gary's. Don't tell Gary that.
Awesome. I'll look after this, you make it all.
It's great to go to different kitchens and see how they operate, and, you know, it's French. So it's a good learning curve for me, that's for sure.
Yeah, in the oven, yeah.
I love it. I'm in my element. I'll stay actually till closing time tonight.
I love doing this, and this is my future, I think.
They can come back anytime. I'll give them a job.
All right, guys, so we're gonna do roast chicken on the crown. Okay, it's really important to remove the wishbone, and the wishbone lives in between the two breasts, okay? So gently pull up the skin through the neck, remove any of that fat there so you can get to it. Just make a little incision, okay? In there, and then you can literally feel your way around there, okay? There we go, that's out. Okay, now to remove the legs, little incision there, and I'll just split it and literally fold over and crack, okay? And then I go in there, okay? And the whole leg comes off. And there we go. All right, and then same again. All right. Now, for our crown, so we've got this beautiful skin. We make sure we keep all that. We tuck that all under. We don't trim that off, because while it cooks, it's gonna shrivel up, yeah? Okay? We just make a little incision across there, and we just cut that off. And there we go, that's ready to go. And I'll get Gary to give this a seal for me.
And just so you know, I'm putting this on the side. So see that lovely golden brown? That's what we're aiming for. We want that caramelisation, and we've also got to be aware that that's going into the oven and it's going to caramelise further. So don't go crazy. And again, it's about controlling temperature.
To go with our chicken, okay, we're going to add 40 cloves of garlic, okay, some shallots, and we've got some of these beautiful potatoes. And we've cut cylinders out of them, quite simply like this. Okay, cutter, pushed in. Right, so for our little potatoes, butter goes in, and we pop them in. Just for the inside of the cavity of the chicken, we've got some thyme, sage, rosemary, really hard herbs that can take some heat, okay? And they go inside. All right, preserved lemon goes in. Okay. We're gonna cook that in the oven on one breast for about 8 minutes, turn it to the next breast for 8 minutes, okay? And then it's gonna come out and it's gonna rest standing up, so all the juices flow into the breast rather than out, okay? Okay. A little bit more sea salt, okay? And that goes in the oven. I've got the potatoes here that we've been cooking in butter. I've deglazed that with chicken stock, and I've added some herbs in towards the end, and the potatoes will soak up that chicken stock. It'll be absolutely delicious. Now I've got my chicken out, and I can feel that that's cooked, yeah? Now with our garlic and our shallots and our preserved lemon, splash some white wine in there, and we reduce that right down. And you can just see that all those beautiful caramelised bits on the bottom of the pan are lifting to the surface, and they're going into the sauce, which hence will go into the dish, all right? Now we'll carve the chicken. And there's nothing better than cooking a chicken breast.
Nicely cooked, George.
On the bone. All right. Okay, that's just absolutely delicious. You take one of these potatoes. It's just glistening. Okay, that's just absolutely delicious. Okay, and just some broad beans here, splash of oil, and that is a sexy little restaurant dish.
Nice.
Right, guys, listen up, some top tips for you just to take with you. Nothing better than roasting some chicken breast on the crown. Yeah, don't take them off and cook them. They'll shrivel up, they'll dry up. And we served everything out of the pan. The garlic came out, that's on there. It's beautiful, soft, Moorish, delicious. okay? Simple, chicken, roast chicken, potatoes, okay? But we took it to another level. We could sell that in our restaurant. Yeah.
So, let's take a look at the mystery box challenge. You had 45 minutes and you had the basic ingredients for a butter cake.
Flour.
Yes. So you basically had butter, sugar, eggs, self-raising flour, milk. You also had icing sugar and vanilla extract.
There was 3 standouts.
I could keep eating that. That's beautiful. Well done.
I really haven't got much to say. That's smashing.
Tastes like Christmas.
Well, as well as those top 3 that were absolute smashing, there was a couple of ones that were a bit condemned. Lucas, tell us about your cupcake tragedy.
Yeah, the rampaging raspberry ripple, yes. Just didn't quite hit the presentation more than anything.
Yeah. What's going on, boys?
Raspberry dribble. Oh, no, sorry, raspberry ripple. Raspberry ripple. Lucas. What is that for a golf ball?
But hang on.
No? There was one clear winner in that competition. The flavour stood out, and that was Julie's Lemon Diva. So, Julie, you're going to come up here and show us how to make that beautiful cupcake. And we're going to show you how you can take that cake, turn it into a restaurant dessert. And we're going to incorporate a lemon and vanilla syrup. We're going to do a lemon cream. We're going to do a lemon curd, and of course the lemon cupcake. Recognise that? The recipe. Right. We've got butter, sugar, and you are going to what?
I'm going to cream it. I sort of mash it together a bit first so I don't get stuff flinging all over the place.
Flinging all over the place? So you were given the basic cupcake recipe. What did you do to make your Lemon Diva cupcake?
I just wanted to keep it simple, so I decided to use the zest in the batter and just reduce the vanilla a bit so they weren't fighting with each other.
So I can zest. How many of these do you need?
3, please.
3?
Yep.
Blimey.
I told you I wanted it to pack a punch.
No wonder it packed a punch. Right, so we're adding the eggs one by one.
One by one.
Off you go then. I'll crack another one for you.
Okay.
Ready?
Drop them in, yep.
So once that's incorporated, in goes the second egg.
Yep.
How many cupcakes do you reckon you've made in your life?
There'd be a few.
A few.
Be a few.
So what do we add first? We had a little bit of flour, a little bit of milk. Oh, you got to read the recipe. I thought you said you made loads of cupcakes before.
Yeah.
A little bit of flour?
Yeah.
How much?
About half.
So what are you doing here? Now you're folding it together?
Yeah, I
you want to add a little bit of milk?
too much once the flour's
You don't want to
in.
abuse it too much?
No.
How much? That much?
Yep, about half.
And then how do we know then how much milk to put in? You're looking for the consistency?
Yeah. I really just followed the recipe.
Oh, so there's really no trick at all. Julie just winged it, basically, based on the recipe. Now, you mentioned about not torturing the cake mix. What does that mean?
Oh, I just, I don't like to mash it up too much once the flour's in there.
OK. Do you think it matters with a cupcake?
You know, maybe it matters and maybe it doesn't. It's just part of the
tender
loving care that I put into my cake.
All right. Now, we've got some vanilla extract somewhere.
Yes.
Yep.
And you want some of this...
splash of that?
You want some of
just
this...
half a teaspoon.
Zest. So
can we put in half of that
half
and
of that?
taste it?
And then you're going to taste it?
Yep.
Go on
Do you want a little splash?
Just as, yeah.
How's that?
That's probably plenty.
Okay. All right, and let's put that in. So it's half of that, maybe a bit
Big
more than half. So we've got zest of 1.5 lemons and a little dash of vanilla extract.
Okay.
That looks nice, doesn't it?
Can I get my finger in there?
Whack the rest of the lemon in.
More lemon? Oh, yeah. And this is what you did to make your lemon Diva cupcakes, yeah?
Yep.
Now I know why they tasted a lot of lemon. Because that's where all the flavour is, in the zest.
in the oil.
Lovely. And how full are you filling them?
About 3/4 full.
Why 3/4?
Well, I don't want them to spill out over the lids and have a, you know, like a fat belly over a pair of tight jeans.
Oh. Well, I'm in trouble then, aren't I? So we're putting these in 180 degrees, George?
Yep.
For about 10 to 15 minutes.
Oven we go.
Yep.
Thanks, Julie.
No
Thanks,
worries.
Sit down.
Thank you.
So cupcakes are in. Julie's cupcakes are in. We've got a lemon cream, which you're making. We've got a lemon syrup, which you're making. And I, of course, have to make the lemon curd.
In the microwave?
In the microwave. So this is a really, really simple recipe. So 3 whole eggs into the bowl. And then 2 egg yolks. And the egg yolks are going to add a certain richness to it. That's why there's an imbalance of whole eggs versus egg yolks. 3/4 cup of sugar. And we just give that a mix until it's well incorporated and the sugar's dissolved. So I need a bit of lemon zest in there, so you can use the zest of one of the lemons. And then just incorporate the lemon juice, and there's a juice of 3 lemons there. And then 125 grams of butter. And that doesn't have to be mixed in. And the whole idea is that we use the microwave, not just set the timer and walk away, but that it goes in for the first minute or 2 just to build temperature, melt the butter, and then we go back every minute and whisk it as the egg yolks thicken the mixture, all right? So I'm going to put that in for about 8 minutes at 50%, all right?
I'm just wondering if this can be done on the stovetop.
Yeah, absolutely.
How would you?
It's just the microwave, obviously, is cooking it slightly differently.
Okay, thanks.
So over to George for the lemon syrup.
Right, so to go with our cupcake and our curd, we're going to make a simple lemon syrup, OK? Sugar, about 200 grams of caster sugar, OK? Juice of 2 lemons, and of course, zest of a lemon. Okay. Right, so we pop that on. One more thing. If you want to be a little bit clever, you can do some candied lemon by just literally cutting the lemons into slices. You can just pop them into your syrup and you'll basically candy them. Now, with the lemon syrup, we also add some vanilla pod to it, okay? All right, and there's nothing better than fresh vanilla pod, okay? Really important that you split it open, and then what we do is we scrape all those beautiful seeds off there, yeah? Okay? And that goes in there, as well as the scraped pod. Now, we're also going to make a little lemon cream. The lemon cream, we're using creme fraiche. So I've got 200 grams of creme fraiche in here. I've got, again, zest of a lemon. So it's, again, we're boosting that lemon flavour throughout the dessert.
What's the difference between sour cream and creme fraiche?
Creme fraiche is a lot more rich. I think there's a lot more fat in creme fraiche, and I think the culture as well. It's a lot more bitter in flavour than sour cream.
How are the cupcakes going? They look pretty good. And we can tell the cupcakes are cooked. We can tell just by giving them a little squeeze. They should be quite resistant. They look nice, Julie. Well done.
OK, so that's our lemon syrup. Right, so we've got our creme fraiche, our lemon zest in there, and some of our syrup that we've reduced down, and we end up with this sort of syrupy consistency that will hold on the plate and look really beautiful. And look at all those seeds in there from the vanilla pod, all right? A good splash of that, okay? And then we just give that a good whisk. Right. And that's just spot on.
Look at this, George. Beautiful.
Right, so now we've got our lemon curd, lemon syrup, lemon cream, and our lemon cupcakes, so we can plate them up now. There was a couple of you that struggled with presentation. Lucas, Yeah, struggled a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
Well, why don't you come up? I've got a white plate for you here, and we've got all these ingredients, and you show me what you would do. How about that?
OK, what would I do?
Yeah, come on.
Come on. Yeah. Yep.
Anything over the top, you reckon? There you go.
Wow.
I got a bit nervous there for a second.
It's not bad, Lucas.
Not bad.
Nah,
Not
it's
bad.
good,
No,
mate.
it's
Well
good.
done, Lucas.
I'm glad
Good
you're
job,
using
mate.
your imagination.
Thank you.
Great
Now,
idea.
come here. Now, where are you going? You're going to now slip there, and I'm going to show you how I would plate it up.
Thank you.
All right? Now, I've got something else to plate it up on. All right? Now, this is sealed with a food-grade seal. So, lemon curd, you smeared it, Lucas. I'm going to do it as well. All right? OK, smeared across the board. Right, the cupcake. So what I'm going to do is soil it, so to speak, yeah? So it looks a little bit organic on the plate.
So this is the lemon and vanilla cream that you made, and one here.
Yeah, why not?
So Chris, what do you think about crumbling the cupcake?
I really like the idea of crumbling the cupcake, mixing the softer, the crunchy texture around so you get a bit of both. And quite frankly, I think cupcakes are quite a boring thing to look at like that, but crumbled are a hell of a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
So this is our little lemon tasting plate with lemon curd, lemon cream, our little lemon cupcake that we made, and lemon syrup. Lucas, you want to taste?
Love the taste. It's beautiful. Obviously, you've got the lemon curd coming through, the balance of the creme fraiche with the vanilla, and yummy, fluffy lemon divas. Beautiful.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Thanks a lot, guys.
And Julie, would you like to come and taste your lemon cupcake?
I love that.
Nice curd, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Recipe.
It's
Very good
beautiful.
recipe.
That's gorgeous. I don't mind that you crushed it now. Tastes good.
Right, that's it for another masterclass. Well done, guys. Why don't you all come up and give it a little taste?
Next time on MasterChef Australia.
Well, guys, taste test.
The chefs put their taste buds to the test.
There's 17 ingredients in this caviar.
What the bloody hell is caviar?
Before they pair up for the Invention Challenge.
This is a unique test. There are no limits.
And the judges will expect nothing but the best.
Are you doing dessert?
Yippee! That is a cracker entree. Brilliant.
This is going to be interesting.
Oh. And that is really horrid. Really horrid.